Hi, welcome to this first tutorial of Embedded Code. Today, we're going to learn how to install a new Linux operating system. So, if your other operating system has a lot of updates, or if you're interested in Linux, this video is for you. Remember that on this tutorial you're going to install the operating system on your computer. If you're looking for a virtual machine installation, just click on the upside box. So, without further ado, let's start. Today, we're installing a Debian-based GNU Linux operating system using a very powerful tool called Ventoy, very useful to create a bootable USB with a lot of ISOs on it. So, we're going to need an USB. The size depends on how many ISOs you want to save. In my case, I'll be using a 64GB USB. First, let's go to the Ventoy website. You can find it on the description of this video. Once we're there, let's click on the download section, and then click on the Windows version. It's going to redirect us to a SourceForge site. Let's click on the green button, but check that it says it's the Windows version. Now let's unzip the file. Once it's done, we have to open the directory and then execute the Ventoy to disk file. There, we select our USB device and then click on install. Remember, the USB will be formatted. You are going to read some warnings about that. If the process was successful, you're going to see this message. Click on accept. Now, let's move on to the file manager. And there, we will see that our USB now contains Ventoy. So, the next step is to paste the Linux images that we want. But before downloading an image, it's very important to know what kind of processor your computer has, a 64 bits or an x86. So, right click and select Properties. As you can see, my processor is a 64 bits one. There are a lot of GNU Linux distros. Which one do I have to install? This depends on how comfortable you feel with it. One of the best options to start diving into the Linux systems is Ubuntu. So, on this tutorial, we're going to install the newest version of it, the 24.04. But if you prefer, you can do this entire course using another Debian-based distro as Fedora, Linux Mint, or even Debian by its own. Remember, all Linux distros are based on different versions of the same kernel. The first step to download is going to the Ubuntu official website. You can find it in the link on the description. Click on the download section and then download Ubuntu Desktop. The first thing we're going to see on the next page is this green button, where you can read Download 24.04 LTS. Once the download is done, we have to paste the ISO in our USB. And once it's done, we're almost ready to start the installation. If you don't want to have trouble with your Windows OS when your computer boots, it's very important that you do the next steps correctly. The first step is check that we have BitLocker disabled, since for security reasons some disks with a Windows installation have this encryption option activated, and by the moment you create a dual boot it may cause us trouble. So if you have Windows 10 or 11, first you're going to do is go to Settings. Once you're there, click on System and About. As you can see, in my case I don't have anything related to BitLocker, but if you have it activated, you have to see something as this image. You'll have to enter into the BitLocker settings option and deactivate it. Next, we are going to search on our Windows bar Disk Management. It's important to remember that this option is only available for accounts with admin privileges. So we open the tool. As you can see, in my case, my disk already contains some partitions, but supposing that it's our first time installing a Linux system, we have to shrink the size of our Windows partition to give space for the Linux one. The size depends on what kind of usage you want to give to your system. In my case, I'm planning to use this partition that is about 200 gigas. we only see 144 because of the format. But as a recommendation, you can use 50 GB for a basic installation. Right-click on RC Unity and shrink option. On this Windows spot, we have to add the values of the size that you want to shrink, considering that our limit is the number of the second line. The last one gives us the total size after our partition shrinks. After we put the values, just click on accept, and once the reduction is done, shut down your PC. The next step is very important. Plug your Bento USB to your PC and power on your computer. Once it boots, enter into your BIOS or Wi-Fi options. In my case, when my computer boots, there is a message that says which key I have to press to enter in these menus, that is F12, but it changes between computer models. But you can Google it. Generally, it's with the function keys. Once we're in the boot options, we have to do two things. First, deactivate Secure Boot, because if you don't, you could have some issues to enter in your Windows system. So, just search the Secure Boot option and put it off. Once it's done, search the boot order. You are going to set your USB first. Save changes and restart. If everything is okay, we are going to see the Bento menu. Select the Ubuntu 24th version. In my case, I have more ISOs on the USB, but if you just pasted the Ubuntu ISO, you'll only see that one. Press enter and another enter on boot in normal mode. Next, on the GNU group, we press enter on the try or install Ubuntu option. So finally, we start with our Ubuntu installation, choosing the system language. In my case, English is okay. It doesn't matter if your keyboard layout is different. On installer, you can change it later. On accessibility options, I'm not going to change anything, so next. Here is where we're going to select our keyboard layout, so in my case I'm going to search for Spanish Latin America. On this box we can even test it. In my case, my internet connection is wired, so I'm not changing anything here. But if you're going to use a Wi-Fi connection, here you add it as in another systems. We can read here this update message about some updates on the installer. We want a fresh Linux updated installation, so click on Update Now. Then we can read that it's necessary to restart the installer, so we close installer. And then we open it again, clicking on the desktop icon over here. And we select our settings again. Here we have to select what kind of installation we want to do, the interactive one that is a step-by-step, or the automatic one, but we need a YAML file to do it, so we select the interactive one. Next, the applications that we need. We have two options: default, that gives us the essentials, a web browser and basic utilities, or the extended one, with more software included. My system will be my main OS, so I select extended. I also need this third-party software for graphics hardware and Wi-Fi, and also the additional media formats, so I don't have future problems related with the graphics. On type of installation, we select the first option, because this one do all the partitions automatically, so we can use it along with Windows. But if you want to be a Linux wizard level 10, use the second option. Erase disk and install Ubuntu. Create your username and set a password. Then we select the time zone. In my case, I'm at Mexico City, so this one is correct. The final step is this installation summary with all the settings that we've set previously. The partition has been named automatically SDA6. I open gparted, an open source tool for partitions management on Linux. check that the selected partition is my 200 GB one. Once everything is okay, click on Install and wait. And finally, we click on Restart Now. We wait until Ubuntu shows this message. We unplug our USB and press Enter. If everything is well done, when your computer boots, we will see the group, where we can select our OS. I'm going to select the Ubuntu installation on SDA 6. And finally, once we log into our system, we will see a welcome message and we can start using our fresh Ubuntu operating system. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, press the like button and share it with people interested on this stuff. I'll be uploading videos every week about Linux, Arduino, Raspberry Pi Pico and more. I'm Adolf, aka Hannah, and see you in the next video. Bye.